using my power to rise stronger after each fall, overcoming all obstacles and taking one step after the other to reach my goals, choosing to grow, change, and write my own story with the help of those that walk on the same path. This is resilience in action.
Hi, thank you so much for being here with us today. It's our first episode about resilience in action, which is a project that Emilia and I, Jolly Chaires, had like a long time ago. And finally, we are doing it. And I'm very, very happy to be with you today, Emilia. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm Emilia O Neill. Dr. Emilia, that's how they call me here. And absolutely happy and excited and nervous and a little bit of everything. But we are here, we are facing our fears, and let's go forward. Let's talk about resilience and how resilience, it's an interesting thing. Resilience is a verb, you know, not only
Really?
a noun. We'll talk, yeah. It comes from the word resiliere, which means to act with that courage. I love it.
So that's why this is resilience in action. And today we're going to talk about redefining the resilience. And we are talking about the term and how we put it in practice in our life, in a world, in a moment that we are living. And resilience, it's a word like people understand totally different things. If you ask somebody, they understand one thing, and you ask somebody else and they understand another thing. And besides, it was like a trend, no? In a moment, this was like a trend, and I think the meaning was a little bit divergent.
Yes, I think it was a word that was in fashion, if you will, and everybody had to talk about it. Everybody came up with trainings, and I think there's, of course, a lot of valuable material out there, a lot of valuable people teaching it. I think when we talk about redefining it, I think we are talking about remembering elements of that definition that I think we leave outside. And I don't know if it's a thing about culture, if it's a thing about how we tend to use it from an individual perspective. And what we are proposing here at the O'Neill Institute is that resilience does not happen in solitude, that we need each other to stay strong, and that we learn resilience from significant others. So that's the part that we tend to forget, no? Because when we train people, and I see this a lot in the military, I see it in organizations, in companies, where they say, no, you have to be strong, you have to overcome adversity, and you have your strengths and you can do it, no? But it's always you. So what we are trying to remind people is that there's also a we, there's also an us, and that when we are feeling low, even though we're strong people, the help of that other significant person can make a huge difference. And that doesn't make us weaker. On the contrary, it makes us stronger. So that's what we're doing here today.
But it's a topic that I feel like it's recurrent. It doesn't matter where you are from. I have seen that we have this mentality, like you said, like I can do it alone. I don't need anybody. I can do it. No, look, just let me. And in the end, that is totally not true, because even though, yes, we are very strong and we do things for ourselves, in the end, somebody came in our way, in our path, that said something or gave us something. It doesn't matter. That make the difference, like you said, and we tend to forget also those things that happen in our life. But in a moment that we are living right now, in the moment that we are living right now, in the world where communication is totally different, Now, if you talk about communication, you think in your phone, your computer, your tablet, or whatever device you have in hand, but never communication with the other, with the neighbor. I mean, I know there are people that still do it, but probably they are my age or maybe older, right? Because we like
Yes.
that, but it's not happening in the younger people. And
That's what research is telling us, no? That these generations are the most communicated ones, but the most isolated ones. So, as you say, we have so many means of communication, so many social media avenues, if you will.
no, they are a lot. Yeah.
But when I talk to people that are feeling depressed or lonely, I ask them, well, but you have friends online, right? And they say, yeah, I have 500 or 10,000 or whatever. I said, well, how come you're feeling lonely? And they say, well, if I don't like what they're saying, I just cut the communication and I go to something else. If I'm gaming with them and I get bored, I just turn it off. So we are losing that ability of talking face to face and of listening to each other and of expressing how we feel. We just turn it off, right? It's like, I get offline and that's it. So it's for me, it's a pretty serious situation where we are not learning from each other. And I just said it, no, resilience does not happen in solitude. So we are having situations, in my office. I'm a therapist, as you know, I'm a psychologist, where people come in and they are frightened. They say, I don't know how to talk to another person in person, face to face. No? So uh, the homework, if you will, or the strategies that I have to teach go from those very simple steps of going into a classroom, walking into an office, and looking at somebody in the eye and saying, good morning. And I say, it doesn't matter if they don't respond, just say good morning. That's where we start. So yeah, we need to be talking about this. We need to be aware and we need to be intentional as to how we connect with others, because it is through the others that we become strong, that we stay strong.
No, and it
We
seems that I'm sorry.
no.
It seems that we forgot. I mean, we learn to talk because our parents talk to us, right? I mean, no, you are not doing the bird sound or you're not barking or doing another things. I mean, we talk because our parents, we saw them. They didn't even have to teach us. We saw it and we learned it. And it's something that comes through the others. So many other things in our life. Our development becomes, I'm sorry, comes from that. And but when we are grown-ups, we forget that. And how can I be conscious of that? How can I go and actually make eye contact? Because that's very hard right now. Like go to a person and say like, hey, hi, right? Are you there? Yesterday I saw a person, it was in a cafe, the waitress came and I was like, oh, give me a minute. And very nice, polite. And he was like, hi, how are you? What's your name? And inside of me, I thought like, you are crossing a limit, right? I thought about it and then I thought again and I said like, wait, he's just being nice. And the lady left with a smile in her face. And I was like, wow. And I don't do that. And I am a very open person, but I don't do that. I don't go and ask my waitress, hi, what's your name? How was your day? I don't do that. And I think we should do it more often, right?
Yes, and I think what you're saying is very important, Yoli, because we do learn resilience from a significant other. This is usually learned when we are kids, when we have a significant adult teaching us what it looks like. As I always say, no, I love that example where a baby will learn about love not because he knows the word or mom says, oh, I love you, and this is what love looks like. But when she's holding the baby in her arms and she's breastfeeding him, she's transmitting love. She's expressing love. And baby learns about it through contact. So later on, when verbal language develops, okay, now we give it a name, right? And we say, this is love. So the same thing with resilience, no? When a little kid is feeling low, we come and we say, hey, you can do it, no? If they lose a competition, or if they're having problems with math, no? When we sit with them and we say, okay, let's do it together. And let's look at how we can do it from a different perspective. Or I understand that you're feeling low right now, but it will get better. We are teaching resilience. That's why we call this program Resilience in Action, because it is not about sitting down and telling you, I'm going to teach you what resilience is, and by describing it, you're going to be okay and you're going to be resilient. No, this is learned through modeling, through talking about it, and through our behavior, right?
Right. Now that we're talking about the kids, it's like, well, just spoke like a very, very lovely mom, like will go and say like, okay, let's do it together, honey, if you cannot do it. If you want to tie your shoes or whatever. Unfortunately, not everybody in the world is like that. And some of us, our kids, didn't learn like in the best way or in the most lovely way. And that is where resilience has like this very interesting part. You and I were, I mean, we talk about this many times, how this happened, when resilience started. And the studies were kids, right? And kids in a war, what happened with them? Some of them reacted in a way, some of the others reacting in a totally different way. But in the end, everyone has this like seed, at least, of resilience inside. But what happened if I didn't grow up in a very lovely environment? How I become a resilient person? If I didn't do it by myself, how can I move from this very cloudy and, like hazy perspective to be a more shiny person and thinking in a positive way?
There's a lot of theories, no? I mean, there's that discussion of whether resilience is learned or we are born with it. And from my perspective, I think, yeah, we have certain traits, right? But they have to be, how can I say, practiced, enhanced, and usually that comes through that modeling. No, they're surviving, where if a kid is constantly in danger, he learns to hide, right? He learns to get away from an abusive parent or from a person that is drinking too much. No, they learn to hide in a closet. That's a survival mechanism, and I have seen that many times, very sadly, no? But then the next step is to learn, and that's where the community comes in, to learn that it is no longer necessary to hide in a closet, that it's okay to come out and talk and learn a different way of being in the world. No, I think of that example because I had a couple where they were fighting a lot because of that. Every time they had a discussion and he felt stressed, he would literally go and hide in a closet. She would follow him and say, hey, come out, we're just talking, I'm not going to hurt. But he would do that because that's what he learned. So he would say, no,
himself.
he gets angry at me, I just have to be in a closet, in the bathroom, or somewhere, no? So it was our time to help him learn that was no longer necessary, that he had the strength, that he had the ability to talk about it and to express, hey, when you yell at me, I get scared. I don't like it. So let's both take 5 minutes, breathe, and then come back and talk about the issue without being aggressive. So that's when we're teaching resilience, right? We're teaching skills that will help the person be in the world in a different way.
And aware of what happened, because you never forget, of course. But when you think about what happened or what made you hide in the closet, you are going to redefine precisely whatever happened and see it in the other in another way and say it's okay, I can do this, even if you are hyperventilating right before, but you can take that step. And it's something that I feel that is really, really amazing is that resilience, even though now it's uh, putting in another ways in another places, in the end, it's still a movement, and it's not just in one country. Are people in many, many countries around the world working with resilience in different areas and in a way that we don't even know or imagine. Like you, for example, that you have the pillars of resilience in your model, and you have teach this and taught this to other people in a different way. How this become a movement?
Well, I think it's a bunch of survivors. It's a bunch of warriors around the world. I can tell you that Newton used to say, no, if we have seen farther than others, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants. And I learned about resilience from pillars in the community in Europe and in South America, in Chile, in Colombia, that are amazing, in Argentina. And they come from very traumatic histories as communities, just as we do in Mexico, where we have had to learn how to be strong, how to survive atrocities, and also how to stand together. So I have one of my amazing professors. She was a representative of the movement of resilience with UNICEF, no, the United Nations section for children, if you will, no, and Estela that works out of the university in Colombia, and another beautiful teacher that I think I owe her so much, because she was the one that said, what you're doing is called resilience. Angélica Kotliarenko, no, who is in Chile. I mean, it's a movement because we went through stuff as communities. If we talk about Mexico, my goodness, no, I mean,
Yeah.
not only social, political things, but I got into this because of natural disasters, for example. No, I became a first responder like that. So it's looking around us, and that's what I'm proposing through this model, is saying, I am strong. I learned from my mother, from my grandfather, but now I look around me and I say, I can share this strength when people have lost everything, when people feel like life is not worth living. I can share my strength with you when you feel like you cannot keep going. I'm there for you. I think that's what we are trying to do here, is to say, hey, no matter what, we can come out together. I will sit with you, I will talk to you, I will listen to you. That's why we say resilience in action. It's not sitting and giving them a lecture, no, like, no, let me tell you, no, it's just being there for them when you need them, when they need you, I'm sorry.
And also, not only in tragedies, because I mean, you are talking about that, and I am thinking like every time there is a terrible tragic, like right now, something happened in North Carolina, really bad. And it has been happening concerts and raising funds in a different ways, and everybody is together because they want to help the victims and the people that doesn't have any a home anymore and all that. In Mexico, when the earthquakes has been striking like really bad in the city, in Mexico City, everybody's helping, and we are so nice, and we are brothers and sisters. I don't care who are you, I will help you. But then that passed, and sometimes we forget, right? We don't have to be in a tragedy to be there for someone, to
I
share
love
whatever happened to me.
that you say that, because I think we were born to be in community. That's it. No, we are community beings. And I think it's that sense of belonging, no, where tragedy strikes and we say, I come out and I cook and I pick up the pieces, no, and I look for people in the rubble, no. And it's also saying, you know what, I want to celebrate something. No, I always talk to people about the difference between coffee and cafecito, no? Cafecito is a diminutive of coffee. So when we talk about coffee, we say you go get your coffee at Starbucks, no, and you grab it with you and you take the coffee with you. When we say cafecito, we are inviting another person to spend time together. And we can spend 3 hours drinking coffee like crazy and talking about nothing and everything, but we are connecting, no? And my dad, he was an American. He never understood that concept, no? Like, why do you have to spend 3 hours? Like, just drink it and let's go, no? So it's something that cultures, Latino cultures, have, no? That connection with family. And our invitation is, please, let's not lose it and let's enhance it. Let's come out of ourselves, and connect with the others and say, hey, let's have cafecito, no? Let's have that time where we're just sharing. I'm living in Alaska, as you may know. It's cold, it's getting dark, and we have a lot of people that are here by themselves. And that's the invitation we're making to them, no? Like, come outside and talk to other people. Don't isolate yourself. Because I know you have gaming and you have all these thousands of friends online. It's not the same, guys. Come outside and connect.
I will propose, if I could see them, like, come on, just make a bonfire outside in the snow, right? And sit around it and, right? I'm sorry, I need to do a parenthesis here for the people who doesn't know. We are Latin people, Emilia and I, and we grew up in Mexico, but we have an American history also. So we are really...
I grew up in both countries. I'm Mexican American, and we were talking about that right before we decided to start this, no? Like, I remember a movie where they said, yeah, my mouth has an accent, but not my brain. So it is interesting when you grow up in both cultures, no? The American Indians say you belong and you walk in two worlds. So it's I always tell people I'm very American for some things and very Mexican for others. So it's interesting, no? And I know that many people are in the same place as we are.
And personally, I can say that made me a little bit more resilient, because to live with one, like I like to call it, one foot in one country and the other foot in the other country at the same time, it is hard. But you also learn a lot of things. And if you are open, because that's the thing, if you are open, you can take in a lot of things and from a lot of people. And for me, it's really amazing to have the opportunity to talk with people from different parts of the world and understand their cultures. Sometimes I don't like it, but I am understanding, okay, it's okay if I don't like it, but I respect whatever they are saying or sharing, and it's really nice.
That's the beauty of these United States, no? That we have the blood of 1,000 bloods, I would say, no? So we have people that belong to so many different worlds, and we are all mixed and combined. And it's saying, let's listen. That's also part of resilience, no? When we talk about the pillars of resilience, we talk about an element that is a sociocultural part, no? Where we say, yeah, I come with the values that my family taught me, but I also belong to a community where many values come together, no? So maybe the way we practice them is different, but the essence is the same. So if we talk about respect, responsibility. It's going to be very similar, no? But in some cases, it will be a bit different. And that's where resilience in action comes in, having that ability, that awareness, and that intention of saying, I'm going to be in this world, present, and willing to learn, to change, to adapt. That's how we define resilience, right? As that ability to not only overcome obstacles, but also to learn about that experiences.
Exactly, because and that's why I was saying that it made me a little bit more resilient, because when you are out of your element I mean, somehow you feel afraid, sometimes terrified, and that makes you not want to go closer or to listen or to hear or see something different, and you said, oh, no, 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 that's not for me. And it's okay if it's not for you. However, if I don't want to be alone, in solitude, depressed, and other things, this contact, even though it's not my people, and I am going to do this because even though it's not the people from my country or from my city, because even though you're not from another country, if you move from one city or another in your own country, you feel the difference, right? The people is different, they have another type of food, etc. But this connection, or at least the first thing, which is the contact, when you make contact with these people that is around you, and you let yourself and let them to show you, and you let yourself to take in and share your part, I mean, it's like the world opens somehow.
Yeah, and I think that's a part of what we're talking about here. It's saying, I am aware, I am open to new experiences. I can take it if I don't feel very comfortable. I can even say it, no? It's something that happens to me often. And a professor used to say, well, congratulations, because that means you still care. Is when I have to be in front of a group, I do a lot of trainings and a lot of conferences. And sometimes I have 5,000 people in front of me. And, trying to come out is like, so it's saying, I have something to share. I have something that I think is going to help others. So that makes me, or gives me the courage to come outside and say it. And when I'm an introvert, no, a lot of people don't believe me. But if you put me in a party by myself, I suffer big time. But I can start by making contact with one person and maybe later with another one by one. No, it's easier for me. My brother is the life of the party. No, he talks to everyone. So it's resilience is about that. Is learning to know myself, to see what my strengths are and what my I don't want to call it weaknesses. No, my areas of opportunity are, where I say, well, maybe I need to develop more skills in this area, or maybe I need to concentrate on this other one. But resilience in action is about that. It's about saying, I realize what is missing. Remember that the cover of my book has puzzle pieces, no? It's saying what pieces are missing, what pieces need to be polished a little bit, and what pieces need to be created. When there has been traumatic experiences, well, some of them don't develop, no, because our brain protected us. I mean, whoever made us was in a very good mood, guys, because he or she gave us a beautiful brain that gives us the ability to feel protected. So resilience is about saying, okay, I survived, and now I can come out of myself and continue walking. So just like we can celebrate the good things, we can overcome the bad ones, and we keep walking. And that's resilience in action, right?
And all the pieces that you were mentioned, it's also to find out which of those pieces are mine, which not, because some of them are like somebody came and put them there. Maybe when I was little, when I had trauma, because something totally out of my control and it's out of me happened, and I couldn't do anything. And that piece in my puzzle, if I divide my body like in a puzzle, that piece was not mine. It was placed there because of the context, the circumstance, the background, etc. But and it's okay, because that is something very hard. And now it's another trendy a phrase that is out there, that is let go. Just let it go. Like, oh yeah, it's that easy, right? I'm going to let it go like that. It's not I mean, yes, we have to let go in some point, but it's not just like that. But first, it's understand that it's okay to take that piece and throw it away. I am not going to forget that the piece was there, but I can replace it with another one that I can create.
Absolutely. And it's about, again, we go back to awareness, we go back to responsibility, and we go back to action, no? To say, I need to, they say that the only way out of fear is through fear. So that's why therapy exists. That's why we have so many ways, no? And I think a part of being resilient is saying, I can't do this by myself. I had someone talking to me the other day, and he was telling me that he grew up in the streets. No, he said, I had to do everything by myself. I had to protect myself. I would eat food from trash cans, and that's how I survived. So I learned that it was me and me, that I was the only person I could rely on. And he said, but right now I feel I can't do it. And I don't know how to deal with this. I said, well, you're talking to me. And that's how you do it. No, you come out and you say, help. And you go with a person that you can trust, that can help you remember your strengths, because that's what we have to remember, guys. It's not either I'm resilient or I'm not. I'm successful or I'm a failure. It's different parts of ourselves. No, in the case of this young guy, I said, you are a warrior. You survived and you strived and you're here. No, he has a very good career. I said, but there's another part that is feeling stuck right now, that is feeling scared, vulnerable. So let's ask this warrior to help you. And what you're doing is coming out and saying, I need help with this part. So let's work on it. And let's use your strengths that come from the warrior side, from your essence, right? And we'll work with them and figure it out. So we're doing therapy together. We're going through a process, and he's healing, and we feel afraid sometimes, no? And we feel that being vulnerable is the same as being weak. But guys, if you are a first responder, if you are a fireman, a policeman, a teacher, a nurse, a doctor, I know we have to be strong a lot of times.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we have to be able to use our resilience and say, hey, it was a tough day today, guys. Or to say, I cannot process this one by myself.
So can we say that the first step, if I am in a bad situation and I want to overcome the situation, the first step will say, I cannot do this alone, like recognize that I cannot do it alone and I need somebody to help
That's
me
the
through.
first part of being and staying resilient, is to be aware of what is happening to my body, to my mind, to my feelings, to my values, and say, something is feeling off. Something is not working very well. And then taking the time to sit down and say, what is it? Is it that I'm feeling too stressed? I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling scared. I'm really angry. And then.
Wait, but how can I distinguish? Because earlier we were talking about the butterflies in the stomach when you see the love of your life or whatever you have a crush on, and also you can feel butterflies when you are hungry, right? So how can I distinguish of that wisdom that is already inside of me and is telling me through my body something, and actually notice the difference.
That's a part of the resiliency model, no? It's saying, what is my body telling me? And if I really listen, because the listening is listen to myself, my sensations even, I can now give them a name. Am I tired? Am I angry? Am I hungry? What is it? Once I can give it a name, I can identify my need. Does that make sense? No, I can, if I'm hungry, well, then I'm going to look for food. But if what I am is excited because, oh my God, the guy that I really like is just walking in, then I will, no? Let's look pretty, no?
Of course, hi.
So it's really paying attention and then identifying my need and then being very intentional about satisfying that need.
And I think that you just said, paying attention, I think that it's something very challenging these days because our span of attention, it was like this and then like this and now it's like this, right? And it's hard to pay attention on something for not even a long period of time, like just for a certain amount of time to actually take in whatever I am listening. And like the gaming person, I don't like this, I just push a button or take my earphone and buy it. I don't care. That is very challenging. How can I do that? Like, how can I move from one place to another to not listening to say, okay, let's say that we understood that we need this and say, okay, I need to start doing this, paying more attention to myself, to the others.
I think the invitation here is go step by step and with the simplest things. In the morning, for example, if you're going to take a shower, or while you're taking a shower, pay attention and see how the water is hitting your back and feel the temperature of the water.
Okay.
And say, this is the perfect shower, no? Or the water is too cold, too hot. And then pay attention, not only buy that coffee, but savor it, no? And say, this tastes pretty good. Or this is, it happens to me, no? I work with the military and my God, they love their coffee strong, no? So sometimes I take a sip and it's like, oh my God, I'm going to be awake for 3 days. So
I will be fine there. Totally fine.
So paying attention to what I see, what I taste, what I feel in my body, because my body is the one that will give me all the information I need, no? Inside and outside. It will tell me it's cold, put on a coat, or it will tell me I'm nervous because I don't know how to talk to this person.
I'm sorry. Please.
Just pay attention, be intentional. And I know that they're telling us that now people have an attention span of 7 seconds, right? So guys, 7 seconds to say the water feels good. 7 seconds to say this salad tastes really good, or no, it needs more salt. But don't just swallow information. Pay attention. Be intentional.
That's a challenging part, actually, which is slow down and go to a really slower pace. The other day I was talking with a friend and she went to a place to have a therapeutic massage. And I asked her later, hey, how was your massage? And she was like, oh, that was great. And you know what? I just discovered something. And I was like, what? I was seriously thinking that she was going to tell me something else, something bigger, right? Because it was a very specific massage that she was getting. It was emotional liberation and another things that happening with the massage. And she said, like, I just discovered that I never, ever, ever take the moment to enjoy when I take a shower in the morning. I love to take showers and I never enjoy it because I am always running. And I was like, okay, It's very
That's
good
a
that you
huge,
actually notice it, right?
yeah,
And
that's
we are
huge.
running all the time.
Yeah.
And we don't stop, just don't stop.
And it's the same thing with gratitude, and it's the same thing with relationships. And there's a poet, an Argentinian poet that used to say, no, you are not depressed, you are distracted. And I love that.
Yes.
Because we are in such a hurry that we don't pay attention to what's in front of me and the opportunities I have to feel joy. And I see couples in therapy, and all they talk about sometimes, no, it's the negative stuff. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. And you say, oh, hey, did something positive happen this week?
And what did you do? Right? You
And,
didn't do something, but what did you do?
and the other part is come outside of yourselves, guys, and see how I can bring joy to you. What can I say to you, my coworker, my friend, my spouse, my child, to make you feel good? Because that's how we become stronger. We need each other to stay strong. So if all I do is rush my kids in the morning, did you take the time to say, hey, I am so glad you're here. You look beautiful. Thank you for being my son. Thank you for loving me. Or did you just rush them out, rush them in?
Did you drag them with you, actually, because you're rushing also?
So resilience is about being aware. Resilience is about being intentional, using your energy wisely, and paying attention to all the areas of your life that make you you and that make you stronger. And it's about paying attention to the person in front of you, to the family that you live with, and saying, how can I help you be stronger? Pretty simple and pretty complex, right?
Yeah, I will say that. It's not that simple also. I mean, you can say it in a very simple way. But the fact that you get to be in front of other person and to say, how can I help? is it's huge and complex, because that means that you are going to take responsibility for something, not for the other person, but just to give the help that you just offered, right? And sometimes I think that, especially now, that kind of scare us, because we don't know if we're going to measure up, the commitment, or if we're going to be able to do it, or oh, what happened if she needs or he something bigger that I cannot do. It's better if I don't ask, right? Or I don't offer.
Yeah, but that's how we become isolated and then depressed. And then I think that the feeling that I get is that we start dying spiritually, no? Where we are so afraid that the Chinese say that this is old philosophy. And they say that if you give and give and give without receiving, you wither and die. But if you receive and receive without giving back, you rotten and die. So it's about recycling your energy.
It is a
It's about
circle, yes.
it's about saying, I will do something for you. And we're not asking about heroic things, right? It's about opening the door for someone. It's saying, hey, can I help you? And on the other hand, it's accepting the help. We were laughing the other day. This friend was carrying packages and a baby and a bag, and I said, "Can I help?" No, I got it. I said, "No, you don't got it." Look at you, no?
Or maybe you do, but let me help you either way, right?
It was like, let me and accept the help. No, it's okay to accept help. It's okay to offer it. If they say no, they say no. But don't waste the opportunity to be there for each other. To contact, to come out of ourselves and have an encounter, no matter how short it is, with another person. No, is to smile. I remember telling a maintenance guy at the university when I worked there. I got there very early one morning, and he was finishing cleaning my office. And I said, oh, are you the person that always cleans my office? And he looked at me, he was startled and scared, no? He's, yes, ma'am, is there a problem? I said, no, I just never get to see you. And I wanted to thank you. I said, because that feeling of coming to a clean office every morning, it's beautiful. So thank you. Oh my God, he smiled. No? And it took me 32 seconds to pay attention and to be nice. And it's
To
the same.
appreciate, right?
Appreciate, be grateful, and be kind to each other.
And you
And
don't
that's
have to even believe it in the beginning. You will believe it after. Because good things are going to start happening to you when you do that. And
it.
it's just not about what comes from outside, it's the inner feeling.
Mhm.
I think it is a very peaceful place to be when you try all that you mentioned. And in the end, you see yourself and you say, yes, I am resilient because I overcome this, and this. Now I feel this way. And in my path, in my way, I had this and this and this and these people and other situations that appeared, and then appreciate and be grateful. And I think it's a very peaceful way to be. I
Or
mean, we're
besides,
about to finish, and I really would like to tell us
yeah,
something more about your model and why you are doing this.
because I had people that did it for me when I was low. I have always had people that have seen me. Um, I remember a professor telling me the girl with the sad eyes. I'll never forget that. Because I had been through a lot. But that day, I must have been 12 or 13, and I decided that I was no longer going to be the girl with the sad eyes, no? Um, and I always had a professor that believed in me. All my insecurities, no? I had friends that were there for me when I was sad. I had my mother that helped me believe in myself, no, be strong. And I had a brother that was with me, and together we have gone through thick and thin, no? So it is only fair that you do it for others, no? If somebody did it for you guys, and I'm sure that even if we had very tough childhoods and adolescence and adult lives, guys, pay attention. And there is always something that will rescue us. If you're alive today and you're watching us and you are breathing and you are working, it's because you are resilient, you are strong, and something along the way made you that way. Maybe a book, maybe you heard something when you were in the subway, and maybe a person said, hey, you can do it. No, even if you come from the most violent, horrible history. I have seen it in my office during therapy, where I have learned so much from my clients, no? When I help them remember how they became strong, how they became resilient. So remember that this podcast is all about you. We want you to be with us and to come as you are, as the song says, no? As you are today. We want you to be here with your light and your shadow. We want you to be here and bring your sadness and your happiness and your doubt and your energy, because this is what life is about, right? And that's how we write it. That's how we create it. And as we were saying before, no, it is okay to not be okay. And I know it's a cliche, but I think it's true. And we can reinvent ourselves. Kierkegaard used to say that, no, that's a choice we make, that we can reinvent ourselves the minute we choose to do it. I know it's tough, but it is possible. So you don't have to go about it by yourself. Resilience does not happen in solitude. We need each other to stay strong, okay?
And we are stronger together. So I am really grateful to be part of this movement and to be here also learning from you, sharing whatever I know, whatever worked for me and whatever didn't work for me. I can share, I promise. But if you are seeing this and you resonate with something, share it, please, with the people you think it can help, right? And we are going to be here every week, and you can watch one, twice, whatever we are talking. If you think it helps, I do that sometimes. I replay something many times because it's a concept that I like. I want to take in and stay there, right? Wrap it around my head, and I think this is something that for me it is a huge part to give something out there also, because I met a lot of people but not a lot, but quite a few, that they overcame a lot of things during their lives. But since they did it, they were trying to make the way harder for others because it was hard for them. So they were doing that for other people. Like, I am going to do it harder.
To make it harder for them.
Exactly.
No,
And I think it's not like that. It's like, it was hard for me, yes, but if I can do it even one line less harder for you, I will. I promise.
Yep.
This is what it's about.
And let us know what you want to talk about. If you have questions, if you have comments, just let us know. And Yoli is the expert here in the communication channels. So she will tell you where and how you can communicate with us now.
Well, in the comments, you can, of course, write whatever you need to. And of course, there is our social media, and you're going to find all the information down below this video. But I really, really want to say thank you for being here. First, Emilia, and then you that are watching, because this is the first one, and I am foreseeing like many, many more.
Me too. And thank you for being here with us. Because like we said, this is all about you. We're doing this because of you and because we've been there. So stronger together, okay?
Thank you. See you in the next one.
Yes.